Oops, sorry about that. Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, sovereign thinkers. This is LO3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful, swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date, Thursday, March 1st, 2017. Yes, hurricane season has begun. Mike Rivera from Maiden Metal's birthday today. Have a great holiday, my friend. And, so they're talking about, looking at what's going on with the whole Trump ordeal, with the Russian ties, but bend over Bob Comey is going to testify, supposedly, and the Democrats made a claim they got revealing evidence. They had talking to the Russian ambassador, including Jeff Sessions. Woo, how thoughtful, right? And they have been addressing the videos that have been released of the Pulse nightclub shootings of Omar Mateen. I won't be surprised if he was under the program called Project Orion. Look that up when you have a chance. Yeah, so, what was I going to say? Yeah, a little cloudy along the rivers, New River, and I'm at CJ's Lounge. 400 Southwest 1st Avenue along the New River, Fort Lauderdale, southwest section of the Andrews Avenue Bridge, in the facility called the New River Yacht Club. All right. Yeah, so enough of the distracting news, and many of us are getting input on the Bilderberg group. So I want to just do a little few things on it, and it's very interesting. Before that, I was looking at some of the photos, few of the photos of Venezuela's deadly crisis in photos. What's really happening. Good photography work too, I got to admit. Got one person in flames, wearing a gas mask. Ball of fire is called. And of course, you have one person crushed by a truck. And you have one person throwing a rock. One's called Wonder Woman. So people they try to make sure. A lot of interesting stuff's happening over there in Venezuela. That's another example of a governmental tyrannical crisis. Any government to resist Venezuela. Pensioner protesters. So, very interesting. So I'm going to leave that up there in my footnotes. And I did talk about how there was a law or resolution that the United States government can send propaganda information to Venezuela as well. And I did talk about that on my past episode. So I might just grab that link one more time, and you folks can read it yourselves. I'll be very sincere about that. So I'll do that in a moment. I'll do that right now. All right, got that on there. So it was actually the footnotes I did on my past episode. And it was U.S. Department on Treasury owns documents revealing funding for pro-regime change and propaganda in Venezuela. So I'm going to add that with the footnotes along with the photos, the digital journal. And like I said, the people in that nation got to decide what they really want. They have their own destiny. And it has to come this way, which is terrible. But we've got hope and pray for our brothers and sisters down there, like the rest of the world, for a true peace, security, spiritual prosperity. But you got to remain vigilant even after if this regime change becomes a reality. You got to put their feet to the fire, plain and simple, and watch out for infiltrators, provocateurs, try to take advantage of this opportunity. Viva Venezuela. Keep it real. That's all I have to say on that. All right. So speaking of that, check on the Bilderbergs here. Bilderberg. And this one really caught my eye. This was an exclusive by Paul Joseph Watson from InfoWars. Interesting little article. Talked about Bilderberg schemes to overthrow Trump. Elitists began effort to reverse America's first revolution in Brexit. So that's what he has to say. Sources close to the elitist Bilderberg Group conference tells InfoWars that globalists see their agenda as being in deep trouble, and that Donald Trump poses a dangerous risk to the international order and must be brought to heel or turfed out of office. Over the years, InfoWars has developed sources close to the conference who feed us information ahead of time to the real agenda behind confab, not just vague list of topics released officially by Bilderberg. Given that is the first year since both Brexit and Trump came to pass, the effort to derail both is very much the primary focus of discussion among globalists in attendance this week. The reason that 3 members of the Trump administration, H.R. McMaster, Wilbur Ross, and Chris Liddell, have been invited to attend this year's meeting in Chantilly, Virginia, is that Bilderberg thinks there's still a chance to put pressure on Trump to force him back down on his America First agenda. With the U.S. about to pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement, Trump is dangerously obsessed with derailing the current world order, according to one Bilderberger, a fear that has intensified since Trump chided world leaders at the G7 summit last week. Globalists are baffled as to Trump's erratic style of governance and are panicked that he could undo decades of work they put in to build a new world order. However, Bilderbergers still think Trump can be brought to his senses and taught how the world really works, a line that is typical of the arrogance that has come to epitomize the attitude of Bilderberg members over the years. Given the highly unlikely scenario of Trump taking orders from Bilderberg, the only recourse left for the elite will be to turf him out of office. Another Bilderberger is confident Trump can be impeached, but only if Democrats regain control of Congress in 2018, in which cases his days are numbered. And another person who addressed that too was Gerald Celente, all right? Which it makes sense. And he's not a Trump lover himself, which I understand completely because I'm not as well. But we have to always look at things a lot broader. Yes, I am critical of a few things. I am critical of him, but I see a witch hunt as well, okay? And I say that out of respect. And it says here, if an impeachment of Trump is in process by the end of 2018, globalists are confident that any effort on behalf of his administration to pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement and any other globalist treaties will be thwarted. On the subject of Brexit, globalists still think that the UK's exit from the European Union can be prevented. Elitists plan to make the withdrawal process as messy and as drawn out as possibly, taking as long as 5 years, before which point they hope to force through a vote in a parliament that will reverse the result of the referendum. So it's very interesting what's been happening over there. And like I said, because you have to, like I tell everyone, you have to examine stuff across the board. Does the InfoWars have some merit? Yeah, I'm not gonna deny. I'm not gonna knock them down completely. They have their pros and cons like everybody else, and they do always have honorable guests, and they have some good links as well. But like I always say, observe responsibly, do your own research, and even the folks from InfoWars say the same thing. So right now, what's been going on with this whole area with the Bilderberg meeting, and they haven't been there in 5 years. Usually, like every 4 years, it'd be in Chantilly, Virginia. Looks like now they stopped over. I guess because the whole election thing, they're trying to really they don't want to get too distracted. Because if they would have did it last year, it would have been a lot more hectic, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm expecting to see a big protest. I know the folks from Luke Rudowski and Dan Dix and many others are out there, even folks from The Guardian, even RT's talking about it, which is good. They're being a little bit stripped naked. And what's interesting, because listening to some reports of the Bilderberg meetings, 65th Bilderberg meeting take place from today and 4th, 2017. And, of course, the participants, well, let's check out the key topics here for this year's include Trump administration, a progress report. 2, transatlantic relations, options and scenarios. 3, transatlantic defense alliance, bullets, bites, and bucks. 4, the direction of the EU. 5, can globalization be slowed down? 6, jobs, income, and unrealized expectations. 7, the war on information. Oh, yeah, so many of us will be probably on their that'll be a hot button because many of us are involved in that, including myself. 8, why is populism growing? 9, Russia in the international order. 10, the Near East. 11, nuclear proliferation. 12, China. 13, current events. So it looks like they're going to try to find a way of manipulating the world, try to possibly get us into World War III just to benefit the military-industrial complex, or maybe do a food war, water war, and they'll be like part of that network of the One World Order umbrella. So that'll be very interesting. Of course, members in here, I'm not going to go in this entirety. Well, I'll go with the United States. Of course, you got Altman Roger C. is going to be there, and which he's Roger Altman, founder and senior chairman, Evercore. Okay, and of course we got Elaine Bunn, okay, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense. And, of course, you got William Burns, president of Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. And, of course, you got Cohen David, former deputy director. And Patrick Collinson, CEO of Stripe. Interesting. I believe Stripe is that one company they do the whole thing on the accountants and so forth of transaction money. And check this out. We got Tom Cotton, neocon, senator, invited to the Bilderberg meeting. And, of course, we got Takani Cooley from China, ambassador to the United States. And we got, look at this, John Elklin, chairman of Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. All right, look at that. Hey. And, of course, we got scumbag Lindsey Graham, senator for the United States. All right, and we got, let's go see here. See how many more political bobbleheads. Of course, Henry Kissinger is going to be there. And we got one guy, co-founder, Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn, and partner, Gray Locke. All right. And, of course, there's Kissinger. Of course, he's going to be there. Jabba the Hutt himself. Let's see. The governor of Virginia, Terrence McAuliffe, governor of Virginia. So the people in Virginia need to call out this parasite. What is his goal? Is he going to be a bend-over Bob to the New World Order himself? All right, just to let you folks know, man, you gotta really. I will call that person out. I'm just waiting for people in Florida to go there. I'll be having a field day with them. And of course, we got HM, the King of the Netherlands. Of course, we got that. That's very obvious. And Lisa Monaco, former Homeland Security officer. And we got, let's just see here. Secretary of Commerce, Ross Wilbur. Yep, so that's a fact. And, of course, David Rubenstein from the Carlyle Group. Yeah, so we got all these people that are going in there. And, of course, the Randall Stevenson, Chairman, CEO of AT&T. Hopefully you folks in the Communication Workers of America are listening, because how come he's going to go in there and he's supposed to be a union man, right? Yeah. Very anti-union as far as I'm concerned. And, yeah, so, the Cook Political Report, Amy Walter. So we got, and, that'll be fine. You can folks can read the rest of it yourself. So I'm definitely going to leave that Bilderberg meeting up there. Take a look for yourselves. And yep, it's just the same old song and dance, I would say. Just wondering how many more people are going to get involved, how many are going to get arrested. Hey, if you're going to do that, you get to let the Fairfax County police, let them know there's no victim, there's no crime. Stop bending over for these scumbags. Plain and simple. Don't let them fall for the hype and hoopla. All right? Because I remember I did tweet at that one time, let everyone know. Call your sons, call them up. Not on the 911 emergency line, but the non-emergency line. When I tell people, they say, oh, you mean 911? No, don't assume, okay? Just use the non-emergency number. Let them go. Just give them a call, a heads up. Let them know, hey, don't even waste your time. Let them peacefully protest. Because the truth of the matter is, folks, they don't care about them. They're being used like a bunch of little bellboys and bellgirls, okay? All right, well, that's one thing. I'm not going to go too ape over Bilderberg, but I said whoever's going out there, give them hell. I would love to see the videos. If you can send me stuff about it, that'd be great. On all my social media groups, just type in Loki Luck 3, number 3, or the Roman numeral 3, okay? 3 eyes. I would love to see what you have to say. And wish you all well. Make it happen. Show them who's the boss. All right. And remember, tell them piss on the New World Order. And be very proud of addressing it. Okay, so this one here came from the fifthcolumnnews.com. Came out today by Isaiah Holmes. And this is interesting. It says here, Wisconsin Police Department claims total drug seizure reports don't exist. Oh, really? So it says here, transparent policing means numerous things that revolving and around informing the public. Citizens are concerned what crimes may be occurring around them. Theoretically, police departments remedy this by producing public records detailing their actions. Wauwatosa Police Department, or PD, however, may not be fully documenting key information. Okay, this is in Wisconsin, by the way, of course. Specifically, WPD recently suggested it does not maintain records on how many drugs or what kinds it captures yearly. This was learned via open records request filed by the TFC, which was denied. Oh, really? 2 sets of documents were requested under open records laws, many in the interest of public disclosure. First, WPD still unpublished 2016 annual reports was requested. Annual reports read likely lengthy beginner's guide to a department and are published yearly. In most cases, Tosa included, these are found on city websites, viewing and scrutiny. Annuals include everything from documented crime breakups to officer promotions, rank structures, and unit overviews. Since 2012, however, Tosa PD has failed to consistently publish these reports for residents. From 2012 to 2015, WPD's annual report page remained unchanged without explanation from the department or city. This coincided with the implementation of a controversial redaction policy stemming from a 2012 court ruling. However, while other Midwesterner departments continue producing public reports, Wauwatosa experienced long dry spells. This briefly included reports published daily in local media in 2013. During that year's summer, Wauwatosa, now a local outlet, issued an editorial apology for the lack of police reports. This occurred alongside a large-scale drug crackdown targeting teens in Tosa's Woods during this operation. Numerous instances of officer misconduct, surveillance, and intimidation were reported. These, however, were largely unheard until being cataloged by the 2015 documentary Speak, Friend, and Enter. The operation began in late 2012 with some claims back dating back to 2011 and ended mid-2014. WPD's missing 2012-2014 annual reports weren't published until request by Cop Block Network contributors in 2015. This was after remaining the 2004 to 2011 documents were removed from the city page without notice or explanation. It's unknown what party, the police department, or otherwise removed the reports in 2015. Ah, really? How cute, huh? The authors of the 2017 request were forwarded to an administrative sergeant by Lieutenant Jack Morrison. Since mid-2016, Morrison has handled the authors' records inquiries himself. This was the first time he passed a request on in such a way. An additional wait was expected as the officers now handling the request was on vacation. Sergeant Kate Gierak eventually said, although 2016's annual report is complete, the frame for availability is unknown. It's similarly unclear what's holding up the report, which are explicitly intended for public viewing. Next, WPD's drug seizure reports from 2015 to 2016 were denied by Sergeant Gierak and company. No record as described existed. She responded in an email stating the city isn't obligated to create a new document for FOIA request. What? Okay. However, this was requested because it's not publicly known what drugs and total quantities WPD captures in the annual report. A section is dedicated to WPD Special Operations Group. This small unit handle covert surveillance, drug seizures, undercover work, and similar operations. Itemized drug seizures overviews are provided publicly for SOG, but not for the entire department. This is noted in SOG section each annual report on the city page since the unit's formation. But the SOG's captured in context, the unit is just 2 to 3, perhaps 4 officers out of 90 strong force. Initially, while Sergeant Gierak was on vacation, Lieutenant Morrison directly audited 2 of these reports for captured yields. After pointing out that the report itself states that it isn't representing of all of WPD, Lieutenant Morrison went dark until Sergeant Gierak replied. WPD's reply conjured a wall between the public and understanding of what drug issues exist in Tulsa. Could this lack of documentation ultimately downplay the severity of such issues, particularly with opioids? From 2004 to 2011, WPD recorded a mix of prescription pills, cannabis, heroin, and occasionally cocaine in annual reports. Some years saw items spike, such as heroin in 2008 and cannabis during the crackdown. The unreleased 2012-2014 reports, however, were the first to record crack cocaine and others never before recorded. Rather, this influenced the withholding of these three documents, 2014, 2012, 2014, is unknown. Milwaukee is in the grip of an opioid epidemic, and Wauwatosa is included, however, to specific data on Tulsa's opioid issues, including overdoses, is scarce. In an email, Tulsa's health department informed the TFC opioid data for the suburb is currently being developed. Although expected by the end of the year, it is unknown when Tulsa's full opioid issue will be presented. This remains a ghost issue in the community, an elephant in the room among many. Wauwatosa's PD suggestion that the total drug seizure doesn't exist adds to the information gap. As a crisis like opioid epidemic mushrooms throughout America, detailed information is essential. It is difficult to see what's accomplished when agencies ensure peeping eyes don't sneak behind the curtain. So what are they hiding? That is the question. Everything public records law, it should be full disclosure, not partial, but full in its entirety. It looks like the Wauwatosa Police Department loves to take their sweet time. Lingerholics Anonymous should be the name of the organization they can get into the program. Hi, I'm a lingerholic. So, like I said, are they doing alleged deals with someone from the higher-ups? We don't know. But the truth of the matter is, my friends, this needs to be addressed in its entirety. That's another example of corruption. Government, parasites of society. Okay, speaking of government, parasites of society, let's just go on here. This came out yesterday from the Free Thought Project. It's entitled, Children Now Face Fines and Arrested If They Don't Get a Permit to Mow Grass for Money. Like it says here, in the land of the free, it is now illegal to mow grass for extra money during the summertime unless you pay the right state official for the privilege of working. These permit requirements are ultimately enforced through the power of police and fines, and this is done by J. Serenopoulos. All right, let's read here. This is in Gardendale, Alabama. A regular summer rite of passage for motivated teenagers across the United States in search of some extra spending money has always been cutting the neighbor's grass. However, teens in Gardendale, Alabama, and many other cities across the United States are about to get a rude lesson in how government overregulation stifles personal financial growth. Local officials and area law services have reportedly warned area teens that without a business license issued by a city, which costs $110, they are in violation of a city ordinance that's violating the law if they attempt to cut grass without a license. It's patently absurd that local teenagers can make a private agreement with the neighbor to mow a lawn without the government sanctioning the transaction by inserting themselves as the arbiter of who is allowed to legitimately cut grass. Mowing grass in the summer is often one of the first jobs a motivated teenager will engage in during their summer break from school. But with a business license costing $110 for the job will likely be ongoing for a few short months in the summer. The cost will likely drive many ambitious entrepreneurial teens away from what they would likely be an rewarding experience. Punish you for being productive. I never heard of a child cutting grass and having a business license. Elton Campbell, whose granddaughter, Alina Paris, mows a few lawns around the neighborhood, told ABC 33 or 40. She charges one lady $20, another lady $30, and another girl $40 besides what we pay her, said Campbell. The teen is disappointed as she felt like the perfect way for her to make some extra money during the summer. Just helping out and raising money for admissions and trips, said Elena Paris. According to Campbell, Paris is allegedly being targeted by someone upset by the competition from the teen. That person is using the power of the state to eliminate his competition. One of the men that cuts several yards may have remarked to one of our neighbors that if he saw her cutting grass again, he was going to call Gardendale because she didn't have a business license, said Campbell. Oh, where is my underdog gone? Oh, where can he be? Yep, that's his hero, Sweet Polly Purebred. What a wuss. Campbell called out the irony of trying to prevent a child from taking a summer job when they show an internal drive and take the initiative, as so many teenagers are not engaged in enterprising behavior or taking additional responsibilities during the summer break. He's coming after a kid when a kid is at least trying to do work. There are kids at home on iPads and electronics and not wanting to go outside, said Paris. Mayor Stan Hoagland weighed in on the controversy, noting that when operating a business for pay within the city limits, you must have a business license. But he also said that sending law enforcement after a child trying to earn extra money in the summer is not a priority. Unfortunately, however, if children do resist this tax on this entrepreneurial spirit, police force will most assuredly come. These children will most assuredly face at the least a fine and possibly even arrest. So dumb down, do-lang, a police state, do-lang. Exactly. Hoagland stated he committed to finding a way to resolve this issue. But of course, the government still wants its cut. So he will explore the possibility of a temporary license for summer months that targets entrepreneurial youth. Oh, how sweet he is, right? I'd love to have something on the books that gave me a more favorable response to that student out there cutting grass. And if there's maybe a temporary license during the summer months that targets teenagers, said Mayor Hoagland. While it is heartening to hear Mayor Hoagland recognize that it's unfortunate that these young people are complaining about permits for cutting their neighbor's grass for a few bucks and saying that he doesn't want this to discourage kids from trying to earn money, the fact that he is still believe that these kids should be licensed speaks to the true insanity of government over-regulation. This is a clear cognitive dissonance seen in Hoagland's ability to recognize the foolish and petty nature of calling city authorities on these teenagers for trying to do something adults should be congratulating and supporting, while at the same time failing to acknowledge that there is no legitimate reason for these kids to be licensed. The formality of requiring teens to be licensed to cut a grass is a simple revenue generation scheme, plain and simple. The type of regulation does nothing to keep anyone safe. It only serves to enrich the government coffers. Once again, the free market is being squeezed by unnecessary regulation for the sake of revenue generation, which only serves to stifle competition and keeps consumer prices higher. So you know why? It's called neo-mercantilism. And there's a video on here too, with like 2 minutes 36 seconds long. And I gotta say this: you're a bunch of douchebags, governmental parasites in that town. You're just another pathetic example of why why people don't want to be motivated, because you bastards think you're smarter than everybody else. This is why governments are the freedom's haters. Okay, they hate your freedom. They don't want you to think. They don't want you to be motivated. They want you to be dumb, stagnant, and happy, or bend over for them because they believe they're smarter than you. Bunch of nannies. Downright nefariously unacceptable. I remember to cut grass when I used to live in Miami-Dade County. I didn't get any complaints. It's a neighbor thing. It's being productive. What's wrong with that? Even with the temporary license, trying to be compassionate, but you know what? It's weak and pathetic. And the people in Gardendale should go in that meeting and take a dump right in their office. They say, "Hey, you work for us, chumps," not the other way around. It's funny because if I'm correct, the Alabama Constitution makes those statements about natural law. All right, and yeah, I'm going to look that up right now because I find this very, it's blasphemy, my friends. And that's one word I can use. It's pure blasphemy. And I'm just going to look it right here. I'll use the Ballotpedia edition. And see what I could find. Add that to the memo. Declaration of Rights. I like when it says here that the great general and essential principles of liberty and free government may be recognized and established, we declare, right? And here, just to let you folks know in Gardendale that all political power is inherited in the people and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their benefit, and that therefore that they have at times an inalienable and indefeasible right to change their form of government in such a manner as they may deem expedient. Well, I see what's going on here. It's that terminology. Expedient. So, right there, Article 1, Section 2 of the Alabama Constitution. So I'm going to throw that in there, okay? So let folks know, this is plainly effing ludicrous, all right? To all those little nannies out there that are complaining because you got a commercial business and someone's like cutting the lawn and you're going to call the city. You're a damn bunch of cowards, bunch of wussies. Go back in your cave, because right now you're contaminating space. I'm tired of seeing kids being punched, being productive, and you pieces of garbage, you're trying to contaminate that. Just a prime example. It's happening everywhere, my friends, and you can do something about it. All right, finally, this one here is pretty cool. It came from 10th Amendment Center. It says, to the governor, Louisiana passed a bill to expand Right to Try Act, further rejects some FDA restrictions. came out yesterday. Today, the Louisiana state government gave the Senate final approval to the bill that will expand the state's right to try law to include technology designed to help ALS patients with mobility. If it's signed by the governor, the legislation will set the foundation to nullify in practice of an Food and Drug Administration rule that currently denies these patients access to this specific technology. Representative Julie Stokes, Republican from Kenner, and two co-sponsors introduced House Bill 179. You can go, there's a link for that. Check it out yourselves. In March, the legislation would expand the Louisiana right to try to include robotic technology that assists patients suffering from terminal degenerative muscular diseases with mobility. The bill is specifically meant to allow ALS patients in the state to access iDrive technology that allows them to maneuver a wheelchair using eye movements. The technology is currently unavailable because it is still in the FDA trial phase. The Senate passed HB 179 by 38-0. The House previously approved the measure by an 88-0 vote. The legislation now goes to Governor John Bel Edwards for his consideration. Former New Orleans Saints football player Steve Gleason inspired the legislation. He was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, in 2011. The terminal illness produces progressive muscle weakness and eventually death. Gleason founded Team Gleason to help raise awareness of the disease and funds to fight it. Now, as Gleason's experience shows, technology can vastly improve the quality of life for ALS patients. He currently uses a machine to help him breathe and a feeding tube for the nutrition. He communicates by typing with his eyes on a tablet attached to his wheelchair. He can also use the same device to drive the wheelchair, pay bills, call, text, email for help, take selfies, play a video for his son, stream music, and much more. Currently, iDrive technology remains unavailable for most ALS patients due to FDA regulations. The passage of HB 179 would open the door for all ALS patients in the state to bypass the FDA and access this amazing technology. In 2015, the Louisiana legislature passed and the governor signed right to try legislation giving terminally ill patients access to medicines and treatments not yet given the final approval for the use by the FDA. The Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act prohibits general access to experimental drugs. However, under the expanded access provision of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, 21 U.S. Code 36B360 BBB. I hope that's correct here. Patients with serious or immediately life-threatening diseases may access experimental drugs after receiving express FDA approval. Louisiana right to try bypasses the FDA expanded access program and allows patients to obtain experimental drugs from manufacturers without first obtaining FDA approval. This procedure directly conflicts with the federal expanded access program and sets the state to nullify it in practice. HB 190 would build on that foundation and expand the law. Although the right to try only addresses here one small aspect of the FDA regulation. It provides a clear model that demonstrates how to nullify federal statutes that violate the Constitution. The strategy narrows the influence of nullification to limit aspects of the law itself, which has proven to be very effective. 34 states currently have right to try in place, and bills currently await governor signatures in Maryland and Iowa. The rapid progress of this legislation and Louisiana's efforts to improve its law shows that Americans from across the political spectrum initially understand that these FDA regulations are harmful and must be agitated through the state-level actions. What's next? Governor Edwards will have 20 days from the day HB 179 is transmitted to his office to sign or veto the bill. If he takes no action, the bill will become law without his signature. So it looks like in the state constitution, the governor can veto it regardless if it's unanimous. So I think it's great because one thing for sure, the FDA, has been a lot of controversy with the psychotropic drugs, for example. I look at the thing on Atvium. All right, so one thing, but I'm happy this is occurring, and you got to give them a great amount of applause for that. Yeah, absolutely. One more for the good guys within the states. And like I said, my friends, there's a lot of work still needs to be done. Nullification is the key to prevent illegal federal laws or unconstitutional statutes. All right. Okay, my friends, that's all for now. Thank you for your time. Plus, feel free to download and share this throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to send me something that's interesting and I want to check out, whatever you do, please address your correspondence with decorum. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Freedoms Network, Scene.life, Minds.com, Future Club, FutureNet.club, and Patreon.com, which is /Loki3 with 3 I's altogether. In addition, you can email me at LokiLuck3, which is number 3 altogether, at gmail.com, or you cryptic fans out there, supporters, LokiLuck03 at protonmail.com. And they're both numbers as well. All right? Okay, my friends, that's all for now. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.